My best friend sent this to me and said, I so bad want this picture on the wall in my family room because this is how I feel lately. So many of you have been asking me to just do a recap on how am I doing, what's going on. All right, so what's the title? I decided, and I think this is so funny how we came up with the title, to call this Moo to Menopause. Instead of Boo to Menopause, it's Moo to Menopause. Here's why. Check out this picture right here. All right, as you're looking at this picture, my best friend sent this to me and said, I so bad want this picture on the wall in my family room because this is how I feel lately. And she goes, I actually find it to be a beautiful picture. And I began to look at it, and of course, we're going through perimenopause. And of course, when you talk to your girlfriends, we're all in different seasons, different stages, and we approach menopause / perimenopause, which we'll talk about in a minute, all very differently. But here are some common symptoms. And so we laugh now at this cow on the couch because when we look at this cow, we think of all of this. Are you ready? Because this is a lot. And I cannot wait to be able to talk to my Heavenly Father and say, like, really? But also, he knew we could handle it, ladies. But we just need the right support system. If you need coaching in the meantime, whatever you need, you can figure it out and you can get through it. I promise you that. And so this is just becoming more of my language. More of my girlfriends are going through it. But here's some of the words that we toss out. And I just think it's hilarious. I wrote some of them down. Anxiety, which is my #1 symptom. If you want to know more about my entire journey with that, please check all the linked videos below. And that'll get you up to pace to where we're at today because we're actually 3 years from when I literally crashed and started taking all my hormone testings and all of that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. But anxiety was huge. Lack of motivation, fatigue, bladder control, depression, not one that I struggled with, but I'm throwing all my girlfriends in there and what they are feeling. Migraine headaches, terribly. That's a huge one. Reduced sex drive, vaginal dryness, weight gain, belly gain, I can't fit in my jeans, I can't even zip my jeans up, shortness of breath, another huge one of mine, / panic attacks. We'll talk about that in a minute. / I think I'm having a heart attack or I may have lung problems. I'm not sure. I had all the testing done. Memory problems. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a sentence talking to a girlfriend? You're like, oh my gosh, what's the name of it? Like you talk about it every day. You might have even forgot your middle child's name, let alone that, your best friend that you just got off the phone with. What were you talking about? Where are you meeting? Or what was the name of that shoe that they were just telling you about? Like quick short-term memory loss. Loss of interest and regular activity. And usually the reason why you're having loss of interest and regular activity is because you feel like the cow on this couch. Like you just can't get your body up off the couch. Like there's no motivation, pure fatigue. You feel like you've swallowed about 100-pound magnet. So I bet one of these, or 2 or 3 or 4, you could circle and say, hey, yeah, I'm there. I agree. I'm excited to watch this video. So if you're excited to hear a little bit about my journey, in this video, I also want to share my supplements that I'm currently using, talk about a little bit of my main friend group, what they're going through, what they're doing. I want to give a little bit of wisdom into some of the things that I'm doing with exercise and diet because I think that's really important. And I'm only going to talk about the season that I'm in right now. I'm going to educate you a little bit on just the basics of perimenopause and menopause. The reason I know the information, not because I'm a doctor or anything, it's because I've done my research. I have studied. Man, when I first hit this and I crashed 3 years ago, I studied under the fact, I really even studied myself and watched those videos because when I experienced panic attack after panic attack, and I was in a place where I wasn't driving. My husband had to, get on board. I was trying all different kinds of things to see what worked for me. If you're in that place, you'll get through it. I promise. You're your own advocate, but you got to go out there. And I will tell you, many videos that I watched definitely helped me. My friend group, I can tell you the friends that were in my life that I know for a fact God placed in my life at that time. They shared their experience, and it's just like almost God knew who I needed, because basically their support and what they told me was exactly what I needed. He just knew that we would be partnered together in that season during that exact year. One of the reasons I really wanted to just do this video was because I just put out my recent newsletter for a new decade, 2020. It was my January newsletter. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please check out heatherbaxter.com. I do a monthly newsletter to all ladies that are subscribed. This is a faith-based channel, so not only are we doing all the things that happen in our everyday life, we're also going to learn how to believe, behold, and become all God's created us to be in every season of our life. And yes, that means menopause and perimenopause. And so in this newsletter, I shared the topic of depression. Now, I was specifically talking about how I am praying over certain individuals in my life that are struggling with depression, and I really brought in Psalm 143. Psalm 143 is a verse that I'm using now still as I pray over the individuals in my life. But one thing that I noticed was how many ladies messaged me and said, can you please do an update of where you are at currently in your perimenopause, in your change of life? So depression was huge. Now understand, I was more on the other side of the scale, which is anxiety, but I have characters in my life very close to me that are going through depression. So I might not have the exact tools for you because I'm more on the anxiety side, but I will promise you that some of the wisdom that I'm going to share, you can resource it out and make it your own plan. I just want to give you some categories to be thinking about. So first and foremost, join that newsletter and watch the video on there for Psalm 143 on depression or anxiety. It's just kind of like that mental game that we all go through. And that happens a lot when we're going through this change of life. I promise you that Psalms 143 is going to be a huge comfort for you. So again, heatherbaxter.com, go ahead and check that out. Also, I will leave the link below to that link that talked about depression and Psalm 143. So it'll all be in the drop down, so you don't have to be going all over the place to figure out where this is. I am currently in perimenopause. What does that mean to me? That means that I'm in this crossover season where things are changing. It's like 1 month I could be feeling this, and the other month I'm like over here, but everything is changing. My hormones are dropping and lowering, and they're just all over the board. For me, again, this is my story. You may be there. Perimenopause means that you have not stopped your periods yet. You still have them. As a matter of fact, they are extremely heavy. Mine are extremely heavy. I've already had 2 ablations. You cannot have any more after that. If you want to know more about what an ablation is, just Google it. For the sake of time, I'm not going to get into that. But the ablation was to stop the fact of having heavy periods. It did not even do a thing for me. So still very heavy. One of the questions on the board for me is surgery, but I do not have the peace yet to have that surgery. And if you have had the surgery, leave me a comment below, because of course I leave it open. Right now I'm feeling like, okay, wait a minute, I'm making it. If I have to get through a little bit more time here of these heavy periods and deal with it, I will. But then I have other women in my life, which are my resources, my friends, saying, why deal with that if it can be handled this way? So I'm still generating information in regards to that, but if I did move forward, it would definitely be because of a very heavy period, which results in a lot of clotting, which results also in iron deficiency. That is me 100% right now. I will talk to you in a minute about my anxiety and how that got under control. Praise the Lord. All right, the other end is menopause. Menopause is when you are in a place that you have not had a period for 12 months. Also, you had testing done on your FSH hormone, which is your follicle stimulating hormone, and your doctor can tell exactly where your levels are at and that you are in menopause. So again, that's really clear. So if you went 8 months and then you have a period, you're not in menopause yet. But that whole perimenopause, it's different for everybody. Let me give you an example. I know somebody in my life at 42 that stopped their period, and when they stopped, it never came back. Like, they were done. And guess what? Zero symptoms. Really? And then I've talked to friends that, like, for example, my sister, who stopped at 49, 48, went 8 months or 9 months without a period, and then in her 12th month had one and started all over again. Thyroid problems an issue for her. Many things, fatigue, were very different. However, we did start our initial perimenopause both with anxiety. Anxiety to the point where we thought we were having a heart attack. My sister will tell you, she actually, after delivering her third baby, and her third baby she had later on in life, she was like 47, I want to say, or 45. I don't know, but she was definitely older in life. It triggered her perimenopause. It triggered things to happen. And she was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks that almost felt like a heart attack. And she went through several testings. I ended up having that same feeling. So I was able to go to her and say, hey, sissy, did you feel like this? Did you feel like you were like you couldn't get a deep breath? She's like, yes. And she goes, I actually went to the hospital thinking she took herself, thinking she was. Nope. And they ended up telling her this is a form of anxiety. It's your hormones. Same thing happened to me. I ended up having lung tests done, heart tests, because I didn't want to just say, oh, it's my hormones. I went to a medical doctor. She did all of my testing with my saliva. My blood work was done. My FSH, my follicle stimulating hormone, all those were tested. Everything was done, and I could clearly say with peace, this is anxiety and it is contributed to this. Once that happened, I began to find out what I should do for that. Now, again, we're going to talk about this in a minute because everybody can treat that completely different. My sister was able to do a lot of homeopathic type of things. Those homeopathic things didn't even allow me to catch my breath. Honestly, I needed medication. And I was so unhappy at first, like, no way, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I actually created more anxiety because I didn't want to get on a medication. Let me put this to the side for a second and we'll come back to that. So there's the difference between perimenopause, menopause, and a little bit about how I, approached perimenopause, what happened in my beginning stages, and now you're going to hear a little bit about where I'm at right now. So again, I have not lost my period. We're having very heavy periods and they're still on time. So what I want to share with you now is how did I combat my symptoms? Because so many people have asked me, what did you do? So I'm going to share what I did, but I'm also going to share where my other friends are at right now because we resource and share together. And that's why I think it's so important to have a community of women so you can share your experiences. It is so important. We need to encourage each other when we're going through this time. It's such an awkward, crazy, I don't even want to say what I want to say. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I love that we can just smile, hug each other and say, we're going to get through this. And then your girlfriends that are just like in a bitchy mood that day, you know why. And it's okay. It's like, let them know, be who you are. It's okay. We'll get through this. We need to know that. And listen, this is the place that you can just be you. I'll listen to you. Let's share comments below. Let's learn from each other. If you have a question, you want a different video on this, I will do the video only to generate resources and a sharing atmosphere. So what am I doing? Am I doing hormone replacement therapy? I get this question a lot. No, I am not. I personally chose not to. I don't really want to get into why I decided no, because I believe this is a case by case. If you want me to be very honest with you, I will do that because I'm I definitely wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not going to hide anything. But the whole breast cancer and everything like that type of thing makes me a little nervous. So I do not want to be putting hormones in me. And I do understand that there are different types of hormone replacement therapy that you can do that is more natural. I honestly chose no in this season. Now remember, seasons change and our approach changes. So again, it's a case-by-case situation. You have to study yourself. But no, I have chosen not to take hormone replacement therapy at this time. Birth control. My doctor had advised, why don't you get on birth control? I said no. My thinking was, why would I want to go on birth control to trick my physical body into thinking it's pregnant, and then all of a sudden I'm going to go off of birth control and my body's not going to know what's going on. I just don't think that's a natural way of doing things. It's a quick fix and it'll make you feel good, but here's the other thing. I tried birth control back when I was 19 for my acne, and it was horrific. It actually caused depression in my life. It caused humongous weight gain. And so it's something that I just stay away from. Also, one of my daughters went on birth control and had the same symptoms, depression, and that is dangerous. And so my family, again, case by case, us girls study each other. No, I have no concern in ever using birth control or messing with it. Surgery, I just talked to you about that a few minutes ago. Hysterectomy, partial hysterectomy, ovaries just taken out, all of that stuff. I was actually planned to have the surgery last year, and I decided to have my toe surgery instead. And I really had both of those on my vision board. This year, it's back on my vision board again, and I'm thinking about it and gaining more resources. So we shall see. It may be a new video. Thyroid issues. Now, my sister sees a serious doctor that does all her testing on thyroid. Thyroid can be a huge part of everything that's going on in your life, from anxiety to depression to fatigue. So it's something you need to have a specialist look at. I highly recommend that because thyroid specialists can really help, and it kind of pulls everything together. I did not. I had my thyroid all tested, so I'm highly recommending your thyroid is tested too, and that was not an issue for me. So what do I do currently? Right now, I am on Lexapro 10 milligrams, and it has seriously been my jelly bean of life for the last 3 years. I cannot tell you, it has been night and day, and I will be honest, when I first started trying to find the medication, I was trying ashwagandha, all kinds of this natural supplements, magnesium powder drinks that I was taking, everything, and I literally could not breathe. Like, it was not helping until somebody said, Heather, it's okay. You need to be treated differently. So I was given Paxil. I couldn't handle Paxil. My body felt like I was having electrocution bolts all the way through it. I was up all night. It didn't work for me. I was also put on another medication. Again, the journey of medication didn't work for me. Lexapro was my winner, my jelly bean. Amazing. I have zero side effects. Some people say the weight gain on Lexapro is awful. It could be for one person, but honestly, my weight gain's my own fault. And I really never went over like 10 pounds. I never gained that. But you also have to understand that I'm only on 10 milligrams. That was like magic. That's like really nothing. So who knows, as my perimenopause, takes on new curves and new directions, I may have to go up a little bit. I may need to take a change. But right now, that has been consistent. And I was just telling somebody the other day, because they were watching one of my older perimenopause videos, like within 6 months of me being on Lexapro, I did an updated video. I remember all the journaling and all the studying, and I remember how awful like 6 months of my life was. I remember my husband driving me. I remember that I could never go into Target, never go into Costco because of the lighting. I just couldn't handle anything. When you are having anxiety attacks due to hormonal issues, your cortisol surges, and your cortisol is like what helps you in stressful situations. So light can cause stress. Music or loud atmospheres can cause stress. So a place where people were talking loud, the talking seemed to just escalate. It seemed so loud. Church worship, which is beautiful, would immediately send me into a panic attack. these were the type of things that I was noticing. Well, it was that stress moment. Not that music causes stress, but our body knows how to adjust to lighting, adjust to sounds, adjust to larger space buildings. And cortisol is released when that happens. My cortisol wasn't knowing what to do based on my estrogen and progesterone. So you'll see that. I mean, study that more for the sake of time. Again, I'm not a doctor, but my doctor basically drew a picture, talked about my cortisone, showed me where my estrogen was at and my progesterone and how I was bottomed out. One was high, one was low, and my cortisol didn't know what to do at that time. So it wasn't working. I needed help. And that is exactly what happened for me. I had to study that. That's what it was. It wasn't a heart issue. It wasn't asthma. It wasn't lungs. But again, you do you. You have to investigate on what your issue is. And that's really, really, really important. I cannot stress that enough. I have a girlfriend right now also that's having severe migraines. I actually have like 3 girlfriends that are having severe migraines, and they're due to menopause. And so again, that is something that you have to study. You got to find the right medication. You got to find out what works for you. Sleep. Your sleep schedule is huge. As a matter of fact, my Apple Watch right now has an app for pillow, which tells you how much sleep you're getting. I need 8 hours with my body changing. I used to be able to stay up until midnight or 1 and get up at 6 and go. I would do house projects until super late. I cannot do that now. I need to get to bed by a certain time, and I need to know that I got my 8 hours in. Then I will be on a morning routine and go to the gym. So 2 things have changed in the last 3 years. I'll do a whole nother video on this. I had to create routines for my PM schedule. I had to create routines for my AM, and I had to see how my sleep schedule worked, which brings me to the next thing, which is diet. I will tell you that spinach has been my best friend. I don't know why. It has helped my skin. It has helped my hair. It has helped my mental capacity. It has helped my leg cramps. Huge. My sore muscles. I don't know why, but I would get leg cramps all the time. Spinach has helped that. Your body is changing in so many ways. So I implemented spinach in my diet. I incorporated ginger root tea. Love that. It's huge for me. It's good for your liver. It's good for all of your hormones. I also do a lot of fresh ginger soups, ginger broth. It's something that's really is calming for me. Different types of teas, huge. Water. I need 100 ounces of water a day. That is a lot. I'm lucky if I get 70, but my goal in my journal is to do 100. Water is huge for me. It really helps my energy level. It helps me focus. It gets me where I need to go. And when I have it down in my planner that I have to do it, it also gives me focus too. Another thing is diet. I do Danette May. Here's her link right here. Love Danette May. I've learned a lot about what needs to go into my body as far as protein and different things like that. I am not a keto girl. A lot of my friends do keto. I'm not plant-based. I know a lot of people that are. Again, case by case. But you need something to be accountable to because your body is just so out of whack. If perimenopause means changes in curves, your body needs a routine. No processed foods. Huge. I don't think I've been to Taco Bell in a couple years. And I died for Crunch Wraps. Wait, I might lie there. I have had a Crunch Wrap in the last year. But that's like a special treat because I love Crunch Wraps. My body does not break down processed foods as well. I will be up all night if I have had like red meat after a certain time, where before it never affected me. If I have a glass of wine after a certain time, it affects me. If I have coffee after a certain time, it affects me. Again, you have to study your body. Also, I'm huge on intermittent fasting. I like to fast where I'll have my first meal after 12 and I stop eating at 8. So whatever, in my mind, I want to do a 16-hour fast. That's like important for me. It doesn't help me lose a lot of weight, where some people lose a lot. I do it more for burning, like just getting my metabolism moving and my energy moving. I'm noticing that intermittent fasting really increases my energy. So that is mainly why I'm doing it. But I also feel like it keeps me in the right place and helps me not to gain a whole lot of weight, but I haven't noticed a lot of weight loss. I notice weight loss when I'm doing physical activity. So like 3-4 years ago, I was running marathons. but I destroyed my toes, and that is why I just had a recent huge surgery that had me on bed rest for like 2 months. I'm just getting back to the gym now, so you can see all my surgery videos on that, but it really destroyed my toes. I also already had a toe deformity, so it only made it worse. It killed my knees, swelled my knees up, but I had to keep running and running and running and running to keep the weight off. And I was tiny. Honestly, I was in the best shape ever, but that wasn't sustainable for me. I couldn't do that every day. I couldn't get out and say I'm gonna run between 6 and 10 miles every single day. I could not. So I had to readjust what I'm going to do. And I did that. And I'm on a program right now. I'm doing a lot of Pilates, a lot of stretching, yoga in the morning, and I do the bike or the elliptical. Right now I'm doing the bike because of my foot, but I go in the morning and that is my morning routine and I love it. So that is what's working for me. Oh, and in the summertime, walk. I love to walk. I think it's like the greatest thing ever. A good 4-mile fast walk, and then I come home and I do a Danette May Pilates video just to kind of finish it off. Okay, what am I doing for supplements? This is easy and fast. I take vitamin B12 drops under the tongue twice a day. Vitamin D and vitamin K. Vitamin K is because you'll pee out your vitamin D, so you need the vitamin K. So I take vitamin K, vitamin D, vitamin B supplements. Again, I'm huge on ginger water and lemon water, and I also take apple cider vinegar water in the morning. I love apple cider vinegar water. And I do take biotin for my hair, to keep my hair, I have very thick hair, but it keeps my hair just healthy, soft, my nails strong, my skin good, because you dry out a lot when you're going through perimenopause and menopause. So biotin is really important. It's important for your skin. Also, my moisturizing regimen is huge. That's a whole nother video for my skin, and what do I put on my skin? A whole nother time. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing, how I'm attempting life right now. But what am I hearing for you? Let me share a couple things that I'm hearing from my girlfriends, and I'll give you some tidbits. So from that newsletter that I sent out, and then just from friends around me, I had these responses and I wrote them down. I'm scared. I don't know what's wrong with me. That was huge. The other one was intercourse hurts. I don't even want to get in bed or even, make a move where my husband feels stimulated at all because I just feel the pain. I honestly feel like it's fence wire in there. That's what I hear my girlfriends say. I haven't passed to that place yet, but I am learning from all of them. Honestly, I'm learning about coconut oil. I'm learning about a lot of things that they're sharing that they use because you know what? Intercourse in your sex life is important. So don't let that just win. Don't be, I'm so much. Learn what you can do. God's created people with wisdom to help you. And so we got to encourage each other. Another one is can't breathe. That is my season. I get you. And I am just like, if I could hug you through here and just rock with you and tell you right now that it's going to be okay, but go find what works. Don't be afraid of medication. Get on the journey right now. It's not a hamster wheel. You might feel like it is. If it feels like a hamster wheel, you're going about it the wrong way. Take a deep breath and know that you are going to find the right thing for you. If you need coaching, I would love to spend some time with you to separate your physical and bring in the spiritual and separate everything, because sometimes we need to do that. God is huge. He's going to direct you to exactly what you need. I promise you, He will fill in the gaps for you. He will open up your mind to understanding. And if you need counseling in that, go to my website, heatherbaxter.com. Go ahead and grab an hour. Look at my schedule. I have my availability up there. If you just need to do a 1-hour session. I also have things that I've went through in life that caused anxiety. And for the sake of time, I don't want to share them, but they're on my website where my exact passion's at, where I have compassion because I've passed through that. So I have those, and it's 2020. I have fresh openings. I was able to say goodbye to a lot of clients that are moving on, and I was able to open my schedule up more this year because this is a passion of mine, working with women one-on-one. And so if it's something that you're looking for, go check that out. Schedule, get a hold of me. I would love to encourage you one-on-one, but you got this. Don't let that breathing or those panic attacks control you. You will get through it. I am so happy. I look back at those videos and I just thought, my gosh, I remember how I felt. And just to think, some women are going through this with no support, nobody. That does not need to be you. I will hug you and I will talk you through it if you need it. Again, I'm not a doctor in the medical field, but I can tell you what God led me to, and I can pray you through it. I can teach you some things, and sometimes that's all you need is just that cheerleader on the other side with you. And so anyway, if you want to continue this conversation, please leave a message down in the comments. Tell me where you're at. Tell me your season. It's all case by case. We learn from each other. Did something help you today that I said? One thing, one sentence. Tell me what it is. If you want to join more conversation, I'm encouraging you to maybe jump over to my Facebook group. I have 2 Facebook groups. I actually have a book club where us ladies read books that are encouraging us. We read a book a month, and then we have a little page. Here's the name of it. The link is also going to be in the drop down, so you can join me there. I also have HB Ministries Bible Study and Resource page. We're going to be doing Bible studies and just talks and different things about life in this group. So it's more of a faith-based group if you're interested in that. If you want to know about anything that's coming up, if you want some freebies, then I would definitely say to go to heatherbaxter.com, get that newsletter so I can bless you, so I can encourage you and help you believe, behold, and become all that God has definitely created you to be. So it's always a blessing to hang out here. It just gets me so excited to be able to film a video to encourage you and continue conversation. And lastly, I am live all the time on my Instagram stories. I do a morning devotion there really quick. So come follow me on Instagram and say hi, say, hey, I heard about you from the Perimenopause video, and I'm just coming over now and following you. Let me know, encourage me, tell me that you watched this video and it was a blessing to you. That just helps me and it blesses me.